What's up, y'all? Shaman Shank back at you with another one, and I know it's been a minute, guys. I know, but I only buy knives that I want, not knives just to review. And I have been waiting on this knife for a very long time, ever since they announced that it was going to be a thing at the beginning of 2026 or spring of 2026. I've been hitting Buck up like crazy, and just with the same run around, like, it is what it is. It ain't out yet. But then they started trickling out. Then they dropped it a week ago or so, and I had to get my hands on one. And the knife that I'm talking about today is the modern, beautiful legend, the Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite. Man, let me tell you something. Me and the 112 go back. We really do. We have a history, and of course I'll compare my old Betsy later on with this, but man, oh man, I knew I was going to love this knife, but I didn't think that I would love it as much as I have been loving it. It is an absolute beaut, guys. If you're clicking on this video, I'm sure you kind of know something about it. You've been waiting patiently like me, but guys, you know, nothing new here. We got a Buck 112, but of course it's on Ozempic, baby. It's been thinning down, working on that body over the winter, and it's ready to put on that bikini and show off its beautiful, beautiful figure. Because man, it's the same, but it feels so daggum good in your hand. And I was on the fence about that. I was really intrigued. I've never held a thin profile buck because, as you know, the Buck 110, the Buck 112 had plenty of renditions throughout the year, but we got the brass back, baby. The brass and those ebony wood handles. But yes, of course, getting into it, basic, you know, stats of a Buck 112. We got an overall length of 7.25 inches. We got a blade length of 3 inches. And I know, you know, I'm always on here talking about, you know, my Emerson's bigger, 3.5 and above. This blade is just amazing, and we will definitely get into that. But of course, you know, looking at the brass, we got the ebony wood inlays, and of course you've got the blessed pocket clip. Thank you, Buck. Thank you for finally doing what you knew to be right. And I'm so glad, because I never in my life or in my lifetime thought that I would see that on brass from Buck, because that is absolutely phenomenal and an absolute game changer, guys. And of course, with the weight on this knife, you got 4.4 ounces. Definitely, you know, like I said, that Ozempic works, man. They definitely shaved off some pounds on this bad boy right here, and it feels great in the pocket, guys. Ever since I've got this knife, I have the Buck Slim, the 110 Slim Heritage Elite as well, but that definitely deserves its own video, and this is all about the Slim 112 today. And it's beautiful. And of course, you know, I had to add that quick stud on there for my thumb, because I'm a one-handed opener, and I don't know why Buck didn't go ahead and do it, but I'm not mad at it. I was mad at it, but that quick stud on there looks handsome too. It's just a handsome little knife. And when I say little, I don't mean incapable. I mean, it is so awesome. And coming from a guy like me, that is a pretty cool thing, because it's all you need. This knife feels like, just like anybody who's held a Buck 110 or 112, you know, or you grew up, you know, that being the knife, you know, when you were a little kid or whatever it may be. In my case, you know, my grandfather, the first pocket knife I ever was given was a 112. And so me and this knife definitely go back. When I held this knife in my hands for the first time out of the box, I just, nostalgia just took me over. Like, I just completely felt like I've been missing an old friend. And through all the knives I have, this knife really excited me a lot. It really did, having it back in the hand. And the really cool thing about this knife, guys, I mean, with, you know, all the Magna Cut, which is amazing, you know, and just a great, more everyday carry in your pocket, you know, it's all great. But what is really special about this knife, guys, and just, you know, the 110 and the 112 in this edition, is we finally have the brass and the wood back, guys. The OG rendition of this knife, the originator, like the original format of this knife, has been held in a prison, and that prison is called the Sheath. And it's about time. It's about time that the granddaddy steps out and says, hey, I'm still a worthy, I'm still worthy competition in this ball game of EDCs because, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I think Buck got carried away with, you know, the other slim editions. They were doing more budget friendly knives that they were doing it on, and of course they dropped the beautiful they did the, you know, 110 112 Sport rendition, which was amazing, and I still love that knife to pieces, and I'll break it out here in 1 second just to show it with this. But it really is cool to see the brass and wood back in the pocket. And when I say in the pocket, I really do mean that, because this knife needed to be freed from that sheath. I really think because, I mean, no one carries a sheath anymore, guys. If you carry a sheath, mad respect to you. I think that's so cool to see. And I see them once in a while, when, like, very, very, very seldom do I see it. Mainly when I go up like in the mountains, I may see some old timers carrying around like a sheath, or I may see some young teenage, you know, high school kid, you know, got a big old lip full of, you know, skull, walking around with one. But in the real world, guys, the sheath is not, it's outdated. It's just not. And this knife deserved this right here, because with kids, you know, these days, I'm 40 years old, and I can imagine like a 15 or 14-year-old, you know, that probably may not even, never even held an original Buck 112 or 110. And then, man, let me tell you, I'm really glad this generation has the option to pick this knife up and feel what quality feels like. This knife just screams quality to me, and it's just the feel it has, guys. And I know if you're watching this video, you probably definitely held, you know, either a Buck 110 or 112 original, and it just has that, I don't know, it just strikes a nerve with you, especially if you grew up with these knives. And of course, you know, breaking out my old faithful back in the day, 1987 112 right there. And look at that. The past and the present. Ain't that a beautiful sight to see, guys? I never thought that I would be carrying or putting a 112 you know, in my EDC rotation ever again, because I'm not throwing this in my pocket. I'm not throwing this in a sheath and carrying it on my side. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. And like I said in the video when I reviewed the 112, I was when I was a little boy, you know, like I said, when you're a kid, you know, all you care about is what you can bring with you. And I mean, throwing this in the pocket back then was not that big of a deal, which I don't know. I must have been wearing my belt pretty well on that thing, which I did. And because it would definitely pull your pants down. But yeah, this tank is as I've said in that video, a safe queen, and just, you know, that my Papa Wayne gave to me back when I was a little kid out there, you know, riding around and stuff. But yeah, it's the same. Everything is the exact same on this, guys. I mean, it's just like day and night, of course, you know, with use and the patina that's got on there. I mean, it is the exact same knife, except as you see, man, oh man, that Ozempic though, everybody's doing it. Even the 112 is doing it. You're not lying to anybody, 112. I have not seen you in the gym. I have not seen you adjusting your diet. I know what you're doing. And I'm kind of glad you did it, baby, because you look real sexy. I'm loving it. I mean, it is just amazing. And I'm really, really glad to see, like I said, again, this generation being able to see this knife and see what it's all about. Because I'm sure, you know, some of these guys out here with their, you know, Spydercos and Emerson, even Emersons alike, and just, you know, Benchmades and all these new materials with handles and, you know, lighter and all that. It's really good that this generation can finally see what all the hype was about, holding that brass. And man, it, like I said, it feels classic. It feels beautiful in your hand. It feels right. And, you know, like I said, I'm a bigger blade kind of guy, but man, this has definitely touched my soul. It has touched my soul, because it really is all the blade you need. And this is a strict, everyday lifetimer EDC, you know, with being able to send this into Buck if you ever were to damage the blade or anything like that. This right here is a one and done lifetime knife. Like you could be, I bought this knife, I'm 40 years old. I could have this knife, God willing, I live to see 80. I could definitely have this knife on my side as an 80-year-old man and carry it every day from here till that day. It really is that kind of knife, guys. If you're younger, you know, and you're like, man, that's some grandpa looking stuff. Let me tell you something. Get one in your hands and feel it, use it, kind of, you know, go with it. But I definitely understand the whole aspect. You know, I do carry mainly Emersons. This is the first time that I've had a Buck in my pocket in a hot minute. And it's been hogging the pocket pretty straight up over the past week that I've had it, and it has worked like a charm. But I must say, I do miss it, being able to flick open my knife with the quickness and all that. But with this knife, I don't know. It just makes you slow down. It makes you slow down and enjoy, I don't know, just everything about it. I mean, I'm just kind of in awe of it, to be honest with you. It really is an absolute beaut, and it lived up to the hype. And I watched the video. I need to start remembering these guys' names and give them shout outs whenever I bring them up in here. But this one guy, I watched the video, he was reviewing this knife for the Buck 110, 112, slim line, and he said this is the knife that's going to keep Buck open another 100 years, and I definitely agree with him. I think again, it's going to be cool to see, down the road, like 20 years from now, you'll see some younger kids saying, my granddaddy gave me his Buck, and they'll be pulling out the Buck 112 slim or 110, and it keeps this knife going, because this knife definitely deserves to be out there in the competition with all these new designs and all that. This design has been around since the early 60s, and of course, it is an absolute beaut to look at, a beaut to use, and it is so awesome. When I first got this knife out of the box, it opened up great. As you see, it still does open up great, but I will say this: whenever I opened it up maybe 100 times or so, it started getting very, very stiff on the lock. Like, I mean, it came to a point of where I really, with one hand, I was like, man, that is a bear. And I went and got some, I know people have different preferences on what they use for these knives with oil, but I use some of my, it was some gun oil I have for my shotguns, and I dropped it down in there. It was, specifically, it was, I may be saying it wrong, but it's like I think it's like a rendition of MF82 oil. Gun oil in general is from my Benelli, but and I use that on there, and I just kind of looked it up, and they said it's cool to use, just if you're not going to food prep with it, which I don't plan to, do any food prepping with this knife. I really don't do any food prep with any of my knives. That's why I have kitchen knives. But if you're out there and you want to, in the woods, and you want to cut up an apple, and you use, be cautious of what oil you use, because it can be toxic to you, and you'd be out there, hanging off the tree straight, hanging that booty right off the tree, wiping with some leaves, hopefully not poison ivy. But yeah, just keep that in mind. But after that, as you see, guys, it's right back to being this great opening with ease. And that lock, that snap, that classic Buck snap never gets old. And you have a secure knife, no blade play at all. And as for me, coming from mainly an Emerson guy, but Buck was my first love with knives. You are, and I'll talk about this more with the 110, but I'm not going to steal from this baby. But as you see, there is a little bit of blade play in there, but nothing severe. It's very tight. It don't touch the side at all when opening it, with that pressure on the side with that thumb stud. None of that, no damage to the blade. Like I said, I've been really using this knife a good bit. I'll be in the backyard with my daughter, and she'll be playing, and I'll just get like a stick, start whittling with, just kind of checking it out, kind of just seeing what's up with it. It's just been so long, my old friend. It has been so long since I've held this, and like I said, I'm really, really glad that it's brought back into the spotlight. Because I really do feel like, even though, prices have jumped up on the Buck website with the basic 112 and 110, I think going for what, $90, and I think maybe even $100 on the Buck website. It's really cool to see this knife back in the hand of a new generation, to appreciate it and keep this going. Keep this going, Buck. This is beautiful. And I'm not a betting man, but I can guarantee you that you are definitely going to see some Buck of the months this week. I mean, not this week, Buck of the month this year, when they come out and drop some pretty cool, probably additions of this. I can probably see them doing like a drop point blade on one, maybe some different, inlays on it, kind of, make it all special and stuff. But yeah, I guarantee it, unofficially, that Buck will definitely do some pretty cool things with this knife in their Buck of the Month program. But yeah, and man, let me tell you something. This blade is so daggum sharp. As you know, going back to my main carry of being an Emerson is like more of, it's a work knife. They're very, very sharp, don't get me wrong. But man, this hollow grind is like surgical sharp. If you're out in the woods and your camping buddy happens to be a surgeon and you get hurt and you need surgery, if he has a Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite on him, you can rest assured that he has a willing and able knife to perform any surgery on your body that he needs to. This thing, dare I say, just going back even with the 420HC, this will cut through bone, baby. I've already nipped myself once or twice on this bad boy, kind of getting, to be honest with you, kind of getting the hang of its profile, the thin, because when you open it up, you close it sometimes, you're kind of used to maybe a little extra real estate around the handle, and I've closed that right on my finger right there, right on the tip. Let me tell you something, it barely touched the tip of my hand, but right when it did it, I didn't feel anything, but I knew that I got cut. There's no way. I was like, there's no way that knife did not cut me. And rest assured, it did. It gave me a little lopper. But yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind with it, guys. I know this is definitely the thinnest profile knife that I own, aside from the, of course, 110, which I'll review on here sometime after this video. But I had to get on here and share this. It is absolutely amazing. And also just to break out the sport, the first time that Buck really went in with the, you know, the pocket clip and they actually put the thumb stud on this one. And I think that would look fine on there if they, you know, did it in like a satin or even a brass. But you know, like I said, I'll leave that up to you, Buck of the Month. Y'all know what to do. Do us something right, do us something special, and I guarantee you'll fly off the shelves. But I'm not mad at that quick stud either, man. It's okay. It looks good on there. It's such a handsome knife. And, you know, like I said, so is the Buck 110 Sport. I reviewed this knife a good while back if you want to go check that out. But the one cool thing about the Buck 112 Sport is, like, you know, you still have that girth in the handle. You still have that thick handle in here. You know, it's more, it feels a lot more elegant. It feels just absolutely elegant, some old time elegance. This one is straight, you know, it's beefy. It's a beefy knife, but it's lighter than this. I believe the Buck 112 Sport's coming in at 3.9, and like I said, this comes in at 4.4, which is a heck of a drop down from the 5.6 to 6 ounces that this mug weighs. I mean, that's pretty substantially different. I mean, you're getting close to half, you know, the weight. But love it, love it, love it, love it. And I love this. Buck, you did good. You did very well. It's pretty cool. I can't wait. I guarantee you these things are probably going to show up on the custom part of the website. Who knows when they will. Buck does things on their own, in their own way, in their own time, in which, of course, you know, they've earned that. I guess they can, since being one of the oldest and, you know, most popular American knife companies. And they did amazing with this, Buck. You did a awesome job. I'm not mad at you about the thumb stud anymore. I've forgiven you. And I'm going in peace, and I'm very, very happy with the turnout of this knife. It's beautiful, guys. If you're thinking about the Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite, go ahead and get it, guys. And like I said, and also just a little disclaimer, on the Buck website, these knives tend to be, I think, around $4 or $5 more expensive than getting it from like a retailer, whether it be Knife Center, or, you know, any place that, you know, you can Google who's carrying the Slim line out there and you can see. But usually you can get these knives about $4 or $5 cheaper. And, you know, with the whole tax and stuff, I've seen them. I mean, and now we'll go into the 110 video because I have more of a story behind that, because I didn't buy the 110 from Buck, but this came from Buck, and I had a discount back in my emails. And after that discount, I think it was over a year old, but it let me use it. I think it was like 15% off. I think I got this knife out the door for like $168, and that's not bad at all, to be honest with you. To me, it's not. With a Magna Cut blade, getting that brass back in the pocket clip, just pure nostalgia, guys, pure nostalgia. But along with that, you have a willing and able knife, what the 112 has always been, and you have that for life. This feels like a good old friend in the pocket. And let me tell you something, I love the 110 and I love bigger blades, but this 112 does it for me, man. You feel very able to do so many jobs, and I really think it comes to the sharpness of that blade and just being a clip point. I mean, they're great for everything, but I mean, you know, of course, this was born and bred a hunting knife. And actually, this was born and bred out, of course, the band 110 from the Navy, and then they created this rendition of it a little smaller. But, you know, I went over that story a little bit more in some of my past 110 videos, but, you know, this ain't no history lesson. I just want to get on here and share with you guys the Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite, because it is definitely elite. This feels so regal in your hand, for lack of a better word, or maybe that is just the word I need to say. It feels classic, it feels regal, it feels able, and it feels like it will last your lifetime and after. It really does. It has that same quality aspect that any OG Buck has, but, you know, it's finally available in a package that people won't just walk by and, you know, disregard. It just is, it's beautiful, beautifully done, Buck. If you're interested, check out, you know, of course, buckknives.com. And of course, other retailers are carrying this knife. You may find it for a little bit cheaper, or, you know, or use a discount with Buck. Like I said, I got this pretty well. I think this Buck, without that discount coming out the gate, because I put it in there before just to see what it would be. And I think it was like right at $200, like 197. So yeah, that's pretty wild. And I mean, I've seen this knife, what, for 170, 174, you know, as the price at other places. But of course, you know, Buck does, for some reason, it's a little bit more expensive on the Buck website, and with shipping and tax, it's going to kick it up a little bit. But I got this bad boy out the gate for 168. So what up? Good rhyme there. But out the gate for 168. Yeah, I'm not hating on it. I love it, and that was a great price for a knife that will definitely last my lifetime. There's no doubt about it. Guys, check it out. You know, if you're not familiar with, if you've never owned a brass and wood, you know, 110, and you have a rendition, I highly encourage you to check this out. Like I said, when you hold this knife, you're holding, even though the weight is dropped down, you feel like you just have a great quality knife that it's just, it's an old friend. It really does. And for me, you know, especially, it feels like an old friend, because I love the 112, and you know, I just haven't revisited that knife, you know, in so long. And even when I got the Sport, as I reviewed, I didn't carry it for that long. And I said, oh, I got to get the 110. And, you know, I got the 110, and I never really carried the 112 again, 112 Sport, which is sad because it's a very awesome and worthy knife. But I don't know, just the whole thinness of this knife, the profile, the ergonomics of this knife. I mean, just that little choil right there, it just snugs your hand right in. It feels so freaking good. And with that brass and wood, that's just the icing on the cake. It really is. You have to check it out, guys. The Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite. It'll get you there, and it'll keep you going, and it will definitely keep going, because this thing is a tank. It is a little tank that is welcomed anywhere. It really is. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I'll definitely get back on here and review that 110 Slim as soon as I can. But I had to break this one out first. Even though I got the 110 first, I really fell in love with this rendition. And it's not, like I said, the only thing changed really is just the profile, the pocket clip, and of course the blade still on that bad boy. But aside from that, she is right back to her old ways. Looking beautiful, guys. Go check it out. I hope you guys had your week is off to a great start, and go get you a Buck 112 Slim Heritage, and you know, pop that bad boy open. Think about the good old days. Slow it down. You know, we don't need to sling our knives out and use the wave to do it. No, we're just going to slow it down real quick. We're just going to slide that bad boy open and do what we got to do with it, and put her right back in the pocket without cutting your hand. Be careful with that, guys, for real. That slim profile, sometimes you can kind of overjudge it, and it'll nip you. And this blade will not forgive you. It is not Jesus. It will not forgive you at all. But yeah. But aside from that, God bless y'all. Hope you guys have a great week. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I will get that 110 video out here as soon as I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Buck 112 Slim Heritage Elite. Oh, man, she's a beaut. And just like this 112 Slim Heritage Elite, please, oh please, stay sharp.